dig your elbow slightly less into my thigh. Any chance? No? Alright. Okay. Hello friend, and welcome to my little book club. Today we are going to talk about a group of books that I find quite hard to find, so I thought maybe I can help someone else find some. And we are going to make a little quilt square with a little embroidery inspired by the group of books while I chat about them. Because my husband's aunt, who's also called Charlotte, gave me this absolutely delightful quilting book from the 90s, and I feel obligated to make a quilt now until we go to Canada, and so I gotta get started on that. She's very good at quilting. I am alright at sewing. I have not made that many quilts, and the times that I've made them, they've made me cry. Um, but we will try, and we'll just do it bit by bit. So today we're doing the first little quilt square. Alright, the group of books we're going to talk about is historical romances that aren't set in Europe. Now, I find these so hard to find. Every single historical romance that, you just see on the shelf is in England, in some manor house, or in London, and it's during the season, and, all that, which is lovely. I love that. However, sometimes I like something else. And all of these books have just such a sense of adventure, and also just they really fit summer, I think. And they're also just not the same, which is nice. Alright, but we're gonna get straight to it. So this is our first book. It is The Summer Country by Lauren Willig. Lauren Willig? Willig? I love this book. This is such a beautiful book. I love this book just for this sort of atmosphere. It has such atmospheric writing. It is absolutely beautiful. And I also love the love story in it. There's multiple love stories, but there's technically 2 love stories, but I definitely have one favorite. So this book is about Emily, who travels to Barbados with her cousin and his wife in 1850 because she has inherited a sugar plantation from her grandfather. And Emily finds it very weird that she inherited this sugar plantation because her father, so it's from her grandfather, but her father was quite poor. He was a vicar, and her mother was very active in social causes. She was advocating for the end of slavery and those types of issues, but they weren't rich in any way. And so she finds it very strange that she inherited the plantation. And after she travels there, she sort of starts to find out things about the history of the sugar plantation. The book is set after the abolition of slavery in Barbados, but it definitely plays a role in it. And it's also sort of split up between 2 times, which normally I don't like, but in this book I really love. And it was really done very well, I thought. And yeah, she just finds out things about why she inherited this plantation, about the plantation. And also, she falls in love, and I love the guy she falls in love with. I think his name is Nathaniel. I love Nathaniel. He's just a good guy. He has such a wonderful introspectiveness about him. He has such a sense of thoughtfulness, and I love him. So Nathaniel was born a slave, but then he had the opportunity to study medicine, and then now he is a doctor in Barbados and helping the people there, which is lovely. I love him. I find him very spoon-worthy. But yeah, other than that, the writing is just wonderfully atmospheric. It's absolutely beautiful. I adore this book. Yeah, I highly, highly recommend this if you just if you just want to feel like summer. I loved it. All right, our next book is a personal favorite. I love this. Our next book is so sweet. I love this book. It is so adventurous. It's so fun. It's very short. Does this count as a novella? Probably. I'm not sure. I don't care. It is lovely. It's called Proper Attire. And if you love piratey vibes, this is gonna be for you. So this book is about Julia, who, to flee her sort of evil stepmother, travels to the West Indies, where she thinks that her uncle knows that she's coming. And her ship gets attacked by pirates, and then she gets one of the guys that is part of the pirate troupe rescues her from being like hurt in that, and he doesn't seem to really be part of the pirates, but he also is a pirate, so like it's very dubious like where he's coming from, and he's all mysterious, and but he's saving her, so it's just very swashbuckly and just it's so fun. And then she gets to the West Indies and realizes that her uncle doesn't at all know she's coming, and so there's a question of like her identity, and there's some like danger around it. But our guy, who has told her that his name is John Smith, which doesn't seem like a real name, is there to help. And I love this book. I love this book. It's just so fun. If you just want to have fun, this is so fun. However, one thing, now skip this if you want to read this book, and please read this book. It's so fun. Skip this, skip to here. Now, the stepmother in this is one of the most villainous things I've ever seen in a book. Now, Julia thinks her uncle knows she's coming because her stepmother told her, oh yeah, I send letters back and forth with your uncle. He knows you're coming. Like, he's going to be there waiting for you, blah, 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 blah. And he's also, going to pay for you, like, for you to get there and stuff. And that, well, I mean, she is able to get there. However, she's not able, like, she doesn't have any money on her. And turns out that the stepmother never sent the letters, which is so incredibly villainous. I mean, that journey was like weeks and weeks and weeks. And Julia is all alone. She has no means of like proving who she is, because also, the ship got, taken over by pirates. So like, there's no way to prove it. But also, her uncle doesn't know she's coming. She has no way of getting back. She doesn't have the money to get back. And it's just like, why do that? Like, she also, she gets accused of like impersonating someone. And it's like, that's a crime. And, I mean, at this point, they still have slavery in the West Indies, so I'm not sure how good their, like, justice system is. I'm assuming not that great. So this is, like, seriously dangerous, and there's just no need to be this villainous. Like, if the stepmom didn't want to write the letter, she could have just told Julia to write it. Like, I don't understand why we gotta murder this girl, because it's not like she needs her dead or anything. She just doesn't like her around, and she's sending her to the West Indies. So it's just so senselessly villainous. But this book is so fun. I love this book. Alright, read this. Now, our third book is a book I have talked about longer already. Here's the video. Wait, is it here? Yes, it's up here. That is A Captain for Caroline Gray, and it is about Caroline, who needs a husband urgently because her and her mother are destitute after her father's death, and her mother doesn't have a way of providing for her, so she sort of makes this deal with the set of parents of this man that is in the army in India, that she's going to go out with him in India 3 times and, like, try to fall in love with him, and for that they're going to pay half her, like, trip to India. However, she doesn't have the money to go back, so this is sort of like a big decision, and a lot of this book is actually on the ship, which I find very fun. Like, it's very adventurous, there's storms and stuff, but I also love the part where they get to India. I think it's written really beautifully, and I think it really gives a lovely sense of the place, and it's so adventurous. There's a bit of suspense at the end, and it's really, really fun, and she obviously falls in love with a captain. It's a captain for Caroline Gray, and I really like our captain. I think it's just a very fun book if you want to know more about it. Here. Yeah. Now, about our last book, The Secret of the India Orchid. Now, this is also a Regency romance set in India, and I will be honest, I read this a while ago. But this is about Sophia, who fell in love with this man a few years ago. He is her brother's best friend, and she fell in love with him, and he was supposed to propose to her, and then he didn't. She was absolutely shattered, but that was a few years ago, and now she's decided she is going to go to India. So she goes to India, and who does she meet there? The guy that broke her heart. And it turns out he might have a reason for why he broke her heart, because I don't know if this is a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. Our guy's a spy, and he was trying to, just be a protective guy and not drag her into spy business. Yeah, and so in India, they run into each other, and there's a lot of intrigue and mystery, and a lot of descriptions of India, which is beautiful, and yeah, it just felt very adventurous. You know, who doesn't like a spy story? I will say that sometimes the plot was sort of there a little too much for me. I would have liked some more romance. The other ones are more swoon-worthy, especially Proper Attire. Very swoon-worthy, I thought. But it's still very fun, and it's not in Europe, so it's really lovely. So anyways, these are the books. And if you have any recommendations for books that aren't set in Europe but are like historical romances, I would love to know. I'm always like on the lookout for some of them. I'm actually reading one right now, but I couldn't recommend that quite yet because, you know, I haven't read it. I haven't finished it. But I would love to know. Yeah, these are the books. I will show you the quilt square. I hope you found something you want to read. And I am so excited to see you next week, friend. We are going to be talking about a very exciting book, and I hope I will have a nice dress. Alright, I hope you have a lovely, lovely time until then, friend, and I will see you next week. You want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
See you.